Well, I consider myself 2 times lucky. The first thing is that because I finally had the opportunity to work into what it is called like a big budget DC superhero. That was like an achievement, I would say. And the other one is that Shazam would have been like the first comic DC movie out of the darkness where we are all used to through Batman, Superman, and everything.
This is Billy Batson. Make sure you make him feel at home.
Just to a cinematographic point of view, I really there was an enthusiasm in everything I've done and an excitement. I was like a little child with a new toy, basically. And I expressed it myself almost, I would say, into a childhood vision of what would be the color palette of my world. Yeah. It's extremely difficult to thinking about which kind of universe and color palette do you want to give to a character that comes from comic books. You can do whatever you wanted, but you are today. You bring Shazam into a today story, into a place where we are used to live ourselves into a normal life, except that his own story and Billy's stories and the family, but everything has to be real. What can you bring cinematographically wise to such kind of things? So my idea and what I tried to express was basically seeing the world as a child.
They seem nice, but don't buy it. It gets real Game of Thrones around here. Dude, just messing around.
We did a huge work of post-production because we basically extrapolated him from the rest of the world. There is a vision and a color palette that could be, in my point of view, is how a child will see the world as it is today. But the red, the yellow, the white, the Shazam costumes, it's totally different. If you take off all the work that we did in post-production, the red of Shazam would basically became a part, integrated part of all the surrounding. We really worked a lot into all those shapes of shadows and the master structure to enhance the character, which was for me the only way to bring a comic book superhero into our world.
You're like a bad guy, right?
Shazam! The prep of a movie like Shazam is huge. It's very long. I mean, every single person on sets know what we're going to shoot, and which makes also like the difficult part about me, which I'm not, like, for example, many scenes we did animatics, pre-visualization of what we would have done. And same things for David. It was kind of a weird and unusual approach because you really know, not for all the movie, oh my God, but just like for the many steps, we really know frame by frame what we are going to shoot. Of course, you have freedom of getting out of it. The problem is that these kind of movies are almost like done with two units. We are the main units, the A main unit, and then the second unit, which will shoot all the actions and all the funny parts. By the way, I have to admit, we have to stick to the plan. We cannot get away because we get other ideas. Nobody will stop you to do it and try to do things, but you will complicate it, all the machines.
Billy Batson, I choose you as champion.
You can definitely see that my journey through the cinematography comes from horror movies. If I used it on Shazam, I have to admit yes, but not just me. It was more like the journey that we had, David Sandberg and myself. Both of us are coming from horror movies or horror passion, if I may say. There's no horror. There's really like there is some jump scares, or more like it's everything around the aspects of the scenes.
Yeah.
And that's more like thankful to David's visions and how far he wanted to go with them aspects, the sculptures, the construction, all the work that is being prepped around them.
Gentlemen! You have bullet immunity! I'm bulletproof.
I just can't wait to have another opportunity and work with Zachary, and that's the most sincere things that I can say. You always, I mean, you did many interviews, and you know how every time that we're speaking about a movie, that was the best thing in the world, I never did it, he was lovely, and blah, 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 which is all intense because we all together, like for months, working together in very difficult situations. So, of course, it comes out from the heart, but it's kind of an enhancement of the movie that we want to introduce to the world. Talking about Zach, it's been a great adventure. He had a huge stone of responsibility on his back. It's every one of us on the sets, of course, but he was bringing back Shazam into 2019, or let me say 2020, to the general audience, where people would say, Shazam? You mean the application for the music? No, Captain Marvel? What are you talking about? He was the Shazam, and the Shazam is a child with a big body, and so the way he handled everything, it was almost like you couldn't feel probably the stress that he had in his body, in his heart. You couldn't. He was someone that would bring everybody to joy on set.
Shazam?
Everybody was like ready to go, and then, okay, let's call Zach. And the first things would be, not him, you could hear the music. Because he was always with his music, like dancing, yeah, we good to go, blah, 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 and entertaining the children and whoever was around him.
BM to the AM. You have super strength.
Can you fly?
It's like having someone on set that really like feel and understand that you need a team to do a great work, and then entertaining the children on set. It was like, whoa, calm down, mamma mia. We shot in Toronto. Sorry, Toronto in English.
Yeah.
In Toronto, in winter, at the temperature, it's like thinking about cold, more cold. And he was in this kind of costume done of like 3D printed with tons of cables to lead
the lightning.
He was freezing, that poor guy. He was absolutely freezing. He was like moving like packs, because we used to pack him because we didn't want to show the costume in the transition between base camp and set. We had some tensions, of course, because of the fatigue and the cold, but it was like more recalling everybody around him. I'm having an hard time. Please help me go faster, or adjust this, or please do something. He never raised the voice.